The news is breaking right now from the New York Times on Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. They think they've got him this time. They've really got him this time. Here are some highlights. Hold on a second. My team's sending me the name of the article. It's Don's Best Friend: How Epstein and Trump Bonded Over the Pursuit of Women. And left-wing X is going nuts over what's in this article right now. Here are some highlights. The Times interviewed more than 30 former Epstein employees, victims of his abuse, and others who crossed paths with the two men over the years. Again, I feel the need to point out, victims of his abuse gets used very loosely by everyone about Jeffrey Epstein. Who? Have their claims been proven in a court of law or otherwise? Like, we don't know. They continue to just accept like certain women who are adults who were allegedly, quote, molested by Jeffrey Epstein when they were 22. Like, this is tricky. In any event, that's what they say. An examination of their history by the New York Times has found no evidence implicating Mr. Trump and Mr. Epstein's abuse and trafficking of minors. Okay, that's great. That seems like an important thing to remember. During a flight together in the early 1990s, Mr. Trump came on to another Epstein employee traveling with them, telling her that he could have anyone he wanted, according to a different Epstein worker who learned of the incident. A separate Epstein employee from that era recalled Trump would occasionally send over modeling cards to Epstein to peruse like a menu. Okay. So he sent over modeling cards to Epstein, and he said on a plane that he could have anyone he wanted. Got it? A few times a week, the phone would ring in Mr. Epstein's office. Trump would be on the line. On one occasion, recalled an Epstein assistant from the mid-1990s, Mr. Trump refused to give any name at all. The first assistant, who often worked late, recalled that sometimes when the office emptied out, Mr. Epstein, oh, this is the part that they're loving. Mr. Epstein would check to see that she was at her desk, and then he would put Trump on speaker. Mr. Trump, she said, seemed to enjoy regaling Mr. Epstein with tales of his sexual exploits, and Mr. Epstein seemed to delight in how uncomfortable it made her to overhear them. She remembered one call in the mid-1990s on which the two men discussed how much pubic hair a particular woman had, and whether there was enough for Mr. Epstein to floss his teeth with. On another, Mr. Trump told Epstein about having sex with another woman on a pool table, according to the former assistant. Now there's this other woman who says she's afraid to be identified or even to be talking to the New York Times because she is afraid she will be executed. One woman, then a model and a college student in her early 20s living in Manhattan, said she attended 4 parties at Epstein's mansion. It was like a pissing contest. Who had the most women, she recalled. She requested anonymity to describe her experiences in detail, saying she feared for her family's safety after Mr. Trump said some of his critics could be executed for sedition. Okay, that's I think very different from her situation. Last but not least, this one involves Marla Maples, Trump's second wife. Tina Davis, who modeled for Ford in the mid-1990s, and her mother, Sandra Coleman, attended a Mar-a-Lago party in late 1994 when Tina was 14. During a trip to the bathroom, they ran into Trump's new wife, Marla Maples. They had not met her earlier. Ms. Maples clasped her hands, Ms. Coleman recalled, and looked her in the eye. Quote, "Whatever you do, do not let her around any of these men, and especially my husband," she told Ms. Coleman. "Protect her." Okay. Ms. Maples, because you remember like all the negative comments Ms. Maples has said about Trump since their divorce, since Trump ran for office. She's constantly been out there saying, he's a Me Tooer, he's an Epstein enabler. No, not a word. She's never disparaged him. Ms. Maples denied making the comment. "I would always protect young women in any way I could," she said, "but I am sure I did not specifically say that about my daughter's father." So that's the big dump from the New York Times. Trump and his best friend, Epstein. Your thoughts on it, Glenn?
Okay. Is it actually breaking news that Donald Trump in the 80s and 90s, as a young, good-looking, extremely rich Manhattan real estate developer, had a strong interest in women and even womanized? Like, we heard the Access Hollywood tape in 2016. People thought it was going to sabotage his campaign, and it didn't. Yes, Donald Trump had a very active sex life, a very strong interest in women, even when he was married. This is kind of what I was talking about earlier. And people have decided that this is not disqualifying. And the other part of it is, and this is something that I think is so important, the whole Jeffrey Epstein thing, and I have to say, in a way, the American right kind of made this monster and it's now sort of attacking them, where it became like every person who ever talked to Jeffrey Epstein, who ever met Jeffrey Epstein, somehow had suspicion on them that they were a pedophile or had an interest in underage girls. A lot of the so-called victims, as you said, Michael Tracy has been really doing among the most courageous work on this because he's been fighting against the tide on this. A lot of these women who claim to have been victims of sex trafficking or Epstein victims never met Jeffrey Epstein until they were like 22 or 23 or 24, not underage at all. So he was also surrounded by a lot of women who were definitely young, but well above the age of consent. And all of this is being done now with innuendo by the New York Times and by the American left, just trying in any way to take some of this dirt from Jeffrey Epstein and throw as much of it as they can on Trump, which might be politically effective given everybody watched Trump fight so hard to conceal the files. But until there's evidence that Trump actually had any kind of relationship with an underage girl, and there actually has never been anything remotely close to that, all this is political activism disguised as journalism, which is everything that you read me from the New York Times, which I haven't read yet, but the parts that you read me are empty in terms of anything significant.
There are a lot of politicians that should be getting coal in their stocking for Christmas, but Birch Gold thinks, as a smart planner, you deserve silver. That's why for every $5,000 you purchase between now and December 22nd, Birch Gold will send you an ounce of silver, which is up over 60% this year. See, smart people diversify and have a hedge. That's why you should consider Birch Gold. With the rate cuts from the Fed in 2026, the dollar could be worth less. And what happens if the AI bubble bursts? Consider letting Birch Gold Group help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold. And for every $5,000 you buy, you will get an ounce of silver for you or your kids. Just text MK to the number 989898 to claim your eligibility for this offer. Again, text MK to 989898 because Birch Gold's free silver with qualifying purchase promotion ends on December 22nd. Message and data rates may apply. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.